question from a white belt who said he was rolling with a purple belt recently, and the purple belt did not respect his tap. So he was rolling with him, he got caught in a submission, and when he tapped out, the purple belt did not let go. He continued to extend the submission until a certain point, and then he let him go after the tap. Now, the white belt felt threatened by it because he was like, I was tapping and he didn't stop, and he sent me the message asking about it. Now, I replied back to him, I said, were you injured or hurt? And he said no. And so what I want to show you guys today is the idea of pre-tapping, why you shouldn't do it, and why I think this is probably what's going on with you, the person that asked the question. I'll just refer to you as G, the first letter of your name, just to kind of keep you anonymous for this one. So I'm going to use Adam here, my lovely assistant today, to demonstrate with you what I mean. We'll also talk about how to safely use submissions to the end range where you can learn to play in those like later parts of the submission, but at the same time keep your training partners healthy. So with that said, let's get started. All right, so G, what I imagine probably happened was something like this, which has happened with my students before. This is something that I do with new people when they come in if I roll with them, right? So for instance, if we're here, later Zach. So from here, once we get into the position here, if I'm in this position right here, let's say his hand breaks, okay, and he starts tapping, and I'm not falling back. It's a different thing sometimes where, like, if I'm really pulling, like, let's say if he's holding, and you can feel it's almost gonna be like a slingshot, and as soon as he lets go, boom, right? But a lot of times if you're here, if the grip is broken, but the person's not ripping it back, and you're tapping here, there's a lot of room that you can fight still, right? And you can think about this with a rear naked choke, right? So come here real quick. Well, let's say Adam puts me in a rear naked choke. He gets here. So like a lot of times I've had guys where as soon as the arm gets underneath the neck here, just like this, they're already tapping the submission. And so again, if I'm rolling with them, I will tell them, don't tap, keep fighting, because there's plenty to fight from. Because in this position, for instance, there's a lot of people who get really good at like just fighting this last grip just enough that they can breathe and escape and get out of this, keep the blood flow going and escape this rear naked choke. Same thing with an arm bar, right? There's a lot of people who get really good about fighting at this position where maybe they can stuff the leg in and then get themselves out of there. And so, and along with that rather, you also need to learn your boundaries and learn when are you actually caught in a submission, when is it fully finished, versus when are you just kind of nervous about it. Okay, so I think probably what was happening to that purple belt, since you're not injured, you're not hurt or anything like that, that's probably what they were doing. They were probably just getting you used to not pre-tapping and getting used to actually fighting the whole way through the submission and getting used to and more comfortable with the in range of those boundaries. That's what I imagine is going on, because that's something we do at our gym, and again, nobody's in here trying to hurt anybody. Now, here's the other thing to consider. If you are training with someone, and this is just general across the board, what you kind of want to do, this is at least what I think, my philosophy on it, you can take it or leave it, lay down on your back again, brother, like an arm bar. If I get Adam in an arm bar here, okay, this is the way that I think about it, okay? If I get here and I pull back, once I start to go, first off, I'm not going to slam my body back uncontrollably. I want to have control with the submission all the way through. If that means that I lose the submission, so be it. I want to make sure that again, my partner stays healthy, because again, if I break all my toys, I don't have anything to play with. So if I slam back for an armbar, because I'm like, here's a great example. Like someone goes for that armbar, they're like, yeah, boom, right there, and falls back all sloppy, right? Most white belts have probably done something like that at some point. Super dangerous, and again, it's not practicing good control. What I want to do is I want to get to the point where once I get the submission, I have the ability to slow it down, so that this way I can practice by getting here to the person and say, okay, like I've got you, and then slowly extend. Now, if it's a competition or if it's a fight or something like that, I won't necessarily be that slow. Although still in competitions, at least me, I try to give my opponents ample time to get the submission or to tap out, right? But again, like that, you want to get to the very end range of that submission and then slowly apply the pressure. It's even like that when we do like heel hooks, So for instance, like when we do leg lock classes in here, let's say if I get here to the submission and I get this heel hook sunk in, right? I know I'm in a gi, so we're not supposed to heel hook, right? That's the rules, right? From here, I'm in the heel, I got the heel hook. Now for me, I'm not gonna take my opponent or my training partner and begin to rip and pop it across, right? Or really pop my hips into it, right? For me, a lot of times in the gym, we try to get here and begin to apply pressure slowly so he can feel the tightness in the leg and know that he should tap, right? And again, if he's educated on this, he'll know to do this. And you can do this with any submission, right? Applying pressure slowly so you give that person time to tap, and you don't have to worry about the injury, especially when it comes to joint locks. With chokes and things like that, you can be a little tight quicker because, again, you don't have to worry about banging someone's joint. But at the same time, even with those, you need to be feeling for what's going on to make sure you're doing it right, because a lot of times chokes can turn into cranks pretty easily, and you want to try to make sure you're getting that nice choke on someone. So my advice to you, G, is that talk to the person to confirm, but I imagine they're probably just not like getting you to pre-tap from the submission. They're trying to get you to fight all the way through and learn your boundaries. And then for anybody training jiu-jitsu, something that I would encourage you to do is learn how to be as controlled as possible with your training partners with your submission. So this way they know that you're not going to break their arm, you're not going to break their leg, you're not going to rip their heel out. And this way you guys can train all the way through, because again, if you get really good at like fighting at that last point, there's a lot that you can do. You can watch a lot of competitions where guys just get their leg out at the right time at the very end. There's a lot of value into training at that position. And so something I would encourage you guys to do is when you're training, make sure that you're mindful with your submissions so that you can train at that extension range, that range of motion rather, but at the same time, we don't have to worry about injuring people. So anyway, that is the video. Hope that's useful to you guys. G, hopefully that helps you out with your question that you sent to me. I'm finished. Adam?
Adam.